call of the Hogs can be heard all the way to San Francisco.
You're listening to Pod at the Palace with Curtis Wilkerson on Inside Arkansas.
And welcome in to the Pod at the Palace Live, presented by Bet Saracen, Arkansas's #1 sports betting app. Curtis Wilkerson and Andrew Ellis here with you. As expected, with some breaking news that we knew was going to happen today, but maybe not the decision that we thought we were going to wind up getting today. Arkansas wing Billy Richmond has decided to forego his remaining college eligibility and remain in the NBA draft. That's according to a report by John Rothstein. Oh boy, that's tough. I think we were kind of bracing for this potentially with Malik Thomas, obviously waiting on him to make an official announcement as well. From the day that Billy Richmond declared for the draft to test the waters, the thought process was he'd get the feedback that he needed on the things to improve at Arkansas next season. We know he had a really good combine, but here we are today with him making the announcement that he's going to stay in the draft. This is going to be a tough one to sell here, Andrew. Bad news for the Razorbacks. That one hurts. We'll talk about the reasons why maybe they'll be okay, but just your initial reaction to the news that we got a few minutes ago that Billy Goat off to the league.
Curtis, are you familiar with the hit animated movie Shark Tale?
I am, yes.
Well, there's this scene in Shark Tale where the guy's talking to the little fish that's played by Will Smith, and he's got the food chain, and he's going through it, and then every few minutes he's like, and is that me? And he's like, nope, there's this and this and this. And he's like, is that me? And he keeps going down the food chain all the way to below whale poop. And that's not the case for Arkansas. I do want that perspective to be known that it's not like Arkansas is going to be a bad team or that they're just going to field a horrible roster on the hardwood next season or anything like that. They're going to win a lot of games, but this offseason has just been kind of one gut punch after another. So many different times we've thought we've kind of talked ourselves into one specific roster construct, whether that's been the 5, whether that's been, maybe Malik Thomas will come back. Maybe we'll get this guy out of the portal. Maybe we'll get this guy out of the portal. Maybe you'll go this route, or maybe we'll make this guy reclass. And it hasn't been a complete disaster, but it just feels like we just keep getting the door slammed in our face in a lot of these different ways. And, for Billy specifically, I don't even think this is like a crazy decision for Billy because I think he's guaranteed to get drafted. He had a good year. He wants to cash in on that. He wants to play in the NBA. And you sent a quote from Cal earlier that said something about hoping that Malik and Billy are first-round picks, and that was a huge red flag where I was like, oh, crap. Once Cal says that, it's usually like when you know something bad's about to happen. I'm trying to talk myself into being excited for Billy because he's one of the most fun Razorbacks we've gotten to watch, and I do think Arkansas is equipped to – at the 3, put some other guys out there. Some of these incoming freshmen are going to fill in just fine, but you just feel like you needed something to get the fan base fired up for this roster, whether that be a huge addition or just getting one of your top guys back. You remember how big of a deal it was, even though it didn't work out. Getting Carter Knox back was such a big boost of like, oh, wow. So we got that retention. We've got some portal guys. We've got some incoming freshmen. And it was just easy to talk yourself into. Arkansas has a pretty good roster on paper, but it's just really hard as a fan base to come out of this offseason and be like, no, we definitely for sure upgraded. This is a blow, man. I feel like they're going to miss his energy, his leadership. He would have also taken a nice little step forward, and so he could have arguably been your most impactful player next year. You knew you were going to be dependent on the freshman class anyway. Arkansas is really going to be dependent on their freshman class, which is a good front. It's the #1 class, but just not a position that I think Hog fans wanted to be in or expected to be in. I think throughout this entire process, we kind of expected Billy was the one we knew we could count on.
Yeah, what was it? The anonymous reporting from Jeff Goodman, he talked to 10 NBA guys, and all 10 said that Billy should come back. And, you see all the stay or go stories because those are going to get a ton of clicks. And then everybody, it's like the likely to return. Like Billy was always in those categories. So that's a tough one. And, I know that there's the conversation immediately is like, well, Cal didn't pay up. He just didn't pay up. He didn't pay up. And we don't know that for sure to be the case. And I have to have a good feeling here that there was an NIL package that would have, it would have made more sense for Billy Richmond to take that to come back at Arkansas than to be a second-round pick where nothing's really guaranteed there. We don't know ultimately where he'll wind up getting drafted, but there is more to it than that when it does come to these decisions. So I want to make sure that we make it clear. Not mad at Billy Richmond. I hope that he goes and kills it, man. Love him. He's an all-timer at Arkansas, a fan favorite, and has taken us to 2 Sweet 16s and provided just a lot of highlights and great memories. Wish him the absolute best. Hope that he crushes it. maybe not the decision I would advise him to make, but some guys are just over it when it comes to college. Some guys have an opportunity to realize that dream. We don't know what was said to him at some of these private workouts. We don't know what advice he wound up getting there. There's a million different reasons and opportunities and things that are out there that go into a decision other than, Coach Cal didn't pay me enough money or whatever. So I do think it's important to note that, because I know everybody's going to jump on that right away. And I get it. Trust me, you're looking at a roster where, you don't have a 5-man yet and people are wondering about the finances with that. So I get it. I do think that's important to note there. Maybe it's just a situation where he's trying to strike while the iron is hot, and he's, got people buzzing off of him from the combine, and he's had some good workouts, and he's thinking, I'm going to go right now, because maybe there's not a guarantee that it's as good of a fit for me with the roster next year. We saw that happen with Carter Knox with some of his new teammates this year. He didn't have that big leap that he thought he would. Maybe he doesn't know, am I going to come back? Is my jump shot going to become, am I going to become a 35% volume 3-point shooter? There's a lot of things that go into that. But at the end of the day, what I'm frustrated by and upset by is I just thought he was going to be back. And so you look at this roster now, and obviously you had a couple guys who graduated and are out of eligibility. Malik Ewan's got the waiver thing, but he went into the portal. DJ Wagner goes into the portal. Carter Knox goes into the portal. Obviously, Acuff is going to the league. And, pending a Malik Thomas decision here at any moment, you have no returners in the from the contributor department. I know Isaiah Sealy's coming back and Paolo Samito, but nobody who was playing big minutes on those rosters is going to be back on this team next year. You got 4 freshmen, I think a really good transfer in Jeremiah Wilkerson and then Cooper Bowser, and it's like, boy, they still have quite a bit of work to do. Like you could be looking at this pretty quickly and say, are they going to have a super short roster again in terms of numbers and depth? Are they really going to go out here in June and have to add 2 or 3 bodies?
Yeah, and I think literally the only real silver lining you can take out of this is that this position that Billy Richmond plays, you have really talented players come in, and so you could maybe make an argument and say, well, was it really that big of a need for Billy to come back? Did we really need to spend all that money? And we can have that conversation. Certainly, you can make the argument. I'll even hear you out. But again, it's you add it up with all these other things. Like Billy by himself and this move by itself isolated, it's really not the end of the world. Like you could definitely overcome that. But when you combine what we expect to be Malik Thomas also staying in the draft, when you combine, not getting, having Carter enter the portal. When Carter entered the portal, do you remember? We weren't even panicking at all. We were like, oh, I mean, that kind of makes sense. He's likely going to have Billy coming back. He's got Abdou Toure coming in. He's got JJ Andrews coming in. It made sense for Carter to go. Now I kind of look back at that. And I'm like, dang, I kind of would have liked to have, a leader, a returner on my roster. Like you mentioned, we're a contributing guy on your team to kind of steady the ship a little bit. And so it's just kind of, again, one blow after another. And I can live with some question marks at the center position. I can also live with, having some freshmen who you're going to put a lot on their plates. That's what Cal does. That's what he's done at a very high level. We had a couple pretty damn good ones last year. But when you start adding it all together and you kind of don't have that retention, you don't have certainty in the front court, and you really just don't have a ton of continuity on your team whatsoever, it kind of makes me think there's going to be a few lumps here. And like I said, I really am not trying to be off the ledge of Arkansas is going to suck. I imagine Arkansas is still going to be good. I imagine they're going to win a lot of games. They're still going to have a talented roster, definitely in that top 15 to 25 range. But the big conversation going into this offseason was, hey, we leveled up year 1 to year 2. Arkansas was a much better team roster, more complete season overall, even though it ended the same way. Now year 2 to year 3, you really want to level up. And as it stands right now, it's just really hard to make that argument. I'm sure I will talk myself in at some point, but it's really hard to make that argument that this offseason Arkansas leveled up with just the way that things played out. And you mentioned the finances of it. I continue to look at it and I'm like, listen, those freshmen didn't come for free, and there's certainly some guys on this roster who are going to make some decent money. There's a lot of them. Cooper Bowser probably got him a nice little bag, but I'm like, where's Arkansas going to end up in the SEC in spending unless just something crazy happens that we didn't see coming at all, which, Malik Thomas coming back would certainly fall into that category and clear some of that up.
Yeah, and the expectation is that Malik Thomas is going to announce it at some point here in the next few hours that he's going to stay in the draft as well. Hey, maybe you get some news like this and you go back to him and say, hey, let's we got a big chunk of change that we can hand you to make you make a different decision. I don't know. I don't anticipate that happening at this point, but we don't have to go too far into that until we actually get some reporting on it. But at the end of the day, you're right. Arkansas still got a very talented team come in, the number 1 or number 2 incoming high school class, depending on what service you look at there. I just think, without having any retention, you need all of those freshmen to pop. You know what I mean? Like if you get a Billy Richmond and Malik Thomas back, if you have some more continuity, like Arkansas did last year, it gives you a little bit of wiggle room for some of the young guys to figure it out. Turns out Darius Acuff didn't need that. But even Malik Thomas went through a little bit of a slump there towards the end of non-conference play before the start of SEC play. And Arkansas was able to kind of weather that. Okay, well, maybe we got to rely on DJ a little bit more. Hey, Carter, we need you to step it up, man. And they got through that, and then Leak took off. I don't know that you have as long of a runway as an on-ramp before these guys need to be really good for you. Like Jordan Smith Jr., he's the number one guard in the country coming in. So, you would hope that he hits the ground running. But I look at those two wings now in J.J. Andrews and Abdou Toure, and it's like, all right, these guys got to be really, really good for Arkansas right out of the gates. They're certainly talented enough to do that. The thing that gives me a little bit of pause about it, and we'll see what they wind up doing with the roster. They wind up adding another guard. They try to reclassify a guy. We'll see. Probably depends on Leak's announcement. I imagine they're going to add a big man at some point. We don't know who that's going to be. But part of the allure of this roster was you have guys like Abdou and JJ, and you were hoping Billy and Isaiah Sealy, like this complement of versatile wings who, they probably all would naturally play the 3 or something, but yeah, sure, Toure can play the 2 for you, and JJ can play a small ball 4 for you. Well, if you run out of wings, and you know what I mean? Like if Billy and Leak are both out of here, then that versatility doesn't stretch as far as you hoped it did. So you become a lot more thin. So I do hope that they, make an addition to the backcourt, get some size in there if they need to. We'll have to wind up seeing what it looks like. But what I know for sure is all 4 of those freshmen are going to need to pop for Arkansas.
Yeah, at the end of any season, you can always look back and kind of, no matter how good or bad you ended up, you can always look back at your roster and say, okay, we were, better than we thought we were going to be. And we were better because this piece hit and this piece hit, and we got more than we thought out of this piece. And then usually when you don't have a season that you wanted to have, you can look back, and say, oh, this guy didn't give us enough and this guy didn't give us enough. And so there is possibility, we're going to look at this roster on paper. That's what we do during the offseason because that's all we can go off of. We will absolutely have those conversations later in the, as the season gets closer where we say, hey, could, Jordan Smith Jr. just really end up being every bit as good as Darius Acuff, just in a different way, in that two-way impact? Could, these freshman wings really just be blue chip, high level players right off the bat? All that is very possible. And so it's like, I'm certainly taking that into account as we have these conversations, but that whole idea would be a lot easier to talk myself into if you had just 1 or 2 other people. Like if Obinna Akezi had been a guy that you had landed, then I'd be sitting here and saying, man, this freshman class, they're kind of loaded. They got a big in this freshman class. You got a point guard in this freshman class. You got some wings. Like let's make this thing roll. I can go all in.
Whoa. Hang on.
Oh no.
Hang on. Dude, John Rothstein, update. Billy Richmond has just switched course and will return to Arkansas next season.
Are you serious?
Per his agent, Bill Duffy.
Are you sure this isn't
of
not
WME?
Rothstein? Are you serious, Curtis?
Yes. Oh, man.
Hey. Fan favorite Billy Richmond. Everything that we just said for 13 minutes, throw it right out the window. Hogs are back. We are going to a natty. You promise you didn't get not Rothstein, Curtis?
I did not get not Rothstein. I have his notifications turned on.
Dude, what?
Hey, react to this for a second while I make the
I will
background
gladly
here
react
different.
to this, Curtis, because listen, everything that I just said and that you just said still applies. The reason why you're bummed out about losing out on Billy Richmond is because it's like, man, this is a guy who was about to enter year 3 of his career, about to, of course, be very motivated. He's had conversations with NBA teams, and, you see guys a lot of times go through that NBA draft process, get really good feedback, and then apply that. And it's certainly a risk for anybody who's going through the draft process who could get drafted to go back to school. But with Billy, he is one of those guys. He's in that very small group of guys who really could improve his stock. And I can think of one very specific way he could do it. If he shoots, 34, 35, 36% from 3, now we're talking about a legitimate, no doubt about it, first-round pick in what is expected to be a weaker draft class. And like I said, the Arkansas has good players on the wing, but how much better is that going to make Abdou Toure that he gets to see a grown-ass man in Billy Richmond setting that tone every day? And, the energy, the physicality, the effort that dude plays with. What better way for your young guys who are going to be entering college basketball? You were just talking about how you're going to have to kind of make these guys grow up really fast. what better way to guide them through that process than to have a guy like Billy Richmond, who Coach Calipari can point to and say, you see what this guy's doing on and off the court? Do everything just like that. I think that's such a big deal. And I think also kind of the dramatic moment, the way it played out, is also kind of sending a message where it's like now he's going to come back and be that leader of the team, make it clear like, hey, I had a chance to go play pro ball. I got some very good feedback from NBA teams, but I wanted to be here with you guys. That's awesome.
What a turn of events.
That was an absolute roller coaster. And honestly, I'm cool with it.
Yeah.
This is the Billy Richmond experience right here, man.
Yeah, that's unbelievable.
So are we rich again now?
I think so. Yeah, I think so. Let's see here. I'm trying to I was trying to change the title of the stream, but it won't let me do it.
It looks on my end, it's showing up and saying Billy Richmond returning to Arkansas.
It is? Okay.
Yes, but I'm not on YouTube, so I don't know.
Okay, cool. Well, and
you
now
guys let us know. Does it say Billy Richmond returning to Arkansas on this?
And I can't get the thing to go off my screen. You know what I mean? Like when we try to, I don't know what to do. Like I can see you, but I can't do anything. I'm trying to save the changes and it won't let me do anything.
Oh, well, I can hear you. I can see you. You can hear me. You can see me.
Okay.
If I need to monitor the chat, I can.
I think you will need to monitor the chat. Hang on. Wait. Let me try one more thing. No, we're good. Okay, I'm back. Okay. I'm back. Good grief. That was crazy.
I was going to completely fall apart trying to do that.
Oh man, that's wild. Yeah. So it says it here, and I don't know if it's going to change it on the YouTube. I guess people were saying that it did. So okay, good.
Yeah.
Dude, that's wild, man.
Yeah, man, that was awesome. That was awesome to have that happen in real time too.
Yeah, that's insane. I guess we got to keep the Rothstein noties on. He might change his mind again.
I mean, he's got what, 5 hours?
Yeah, I guess so.
6 hours about.
Oh, what a turn of events.
Wow.
That's wild.
I mean, listen, now we can just go ahead and say this. Billy Richmond was already one of the biggest fan favorites I've ever seen in any sport, football, basketball, baseball, softball, anything. There's very few players who have had a connection with the fan base as deep as Billy Richmond has, especially because Billy Richmond doesn't talk all that much. Right. The connection is purely on this dude plays the way we think a Razorback basketball player should play. And now that you add this in, and he's going to obviously have another year in a Razorback uniform, and that we know he kind of turned down something to come back, does this make him truly one of one fan favorite level guy? Like, think about the pop he's going to get at whatever Midnight Madness or whatever that Arkansas does.
Has to be. No, this has to be he's a legend at this point. There's no way about it. There's no other way.
You think he was watching our stream and he was like, you know what? I got to come back.
Oh, watching us being baffled, trying to be like, yeah, I don't know, man. Like, we love him, but what the hell is going on here? Well, and obviously this is huge news, right? Because everything I just talked about of the vision of having all these long, athletic, multi-positional wings, well, that's so much more in play now for Arkansas to be able to do. So you can talk me into, oh yeah, you got Mika, and that's fine. Like JJ can play some 4 for you, and if Malik Thomas leaves, then it's like, okay, Abdou Toure can play some 2, and that makes sense because you won't need those guys to play as much 3 because Billy Richmond's going to play 35 minutes a game right there. You know what I mean? Yeah,
I mean, and listen, the thing about Billy is because again, as the season comes by, we're going to start looking at numbers, and we're going to, I'm sure there will be someone who says, this guy averaged 11 points a game. Are y'all sure he's that valuable? His impact goes so much further than just making Arkansas a better offense or, even as a one-on-one defender, his impact goes so much deeper because it just kind of frees everyone up to play their game. And he's one of those guys that he's low maintenance, doesn't demand the ball, doesn't need any specific setting. He's not one of those guys like a big man who works from the post where you kind of need a specific set of rosters around him. He's interchangeable in all these lineups. He's probably going to play the 2 in some of these lineups. He's probably going to play some small ball 4. He's obviously going to be pretty damn good at the 3, and he just makes everyone else on the floor better with his intensity. And so, yeah, I think this is going to have a ripple effect where not only those younger guys are going to be able to be more free and kind of grow at their own pace, but also just, someone like Jeremiah Wilkinson can just worry about being Jeremiah Wilkinson because he's got a guy on the wing who's a junkyard dog next to him. It just makes everybody better, and that's why we were so upset at the start of the show, which, I've seen a few people in the chat that are like, oh, you guys were freaking out for nothing. It's like, well, what were we supposed to do? I mean,
No, we weren't freaking out for nothing. We were freaking out because the one of the most preeminent college basketball reporters in the world announced that he was staying in the damn draft.
He changed his mind. We changed our stance accordingly.
Yeah, I mean, what do you expect?
You got to watch it all happen in real time. This is great.
All right, I got the thumbnail updated too, from staying in the draft to returning to Arkansas.
Yeah.
You know.
Also
before I ban this guy, he's killing me. Like, he came in here a minute ago, he's like, these guys are chicken littles and they have a following, and now we're ridiculous. What the hell do you expect to happen right here?
I also want you to be very specific. Like, what is it specifically that we said that you're very upset about? Because, like, listen, if you're,
Billy Richmond leaving sucks for Arkansas. Billy Richmond coming back is great for Arkansas. Imagine that.
Right. It's like, like I said, like, our reaction makes sense. We are now very excited because we were like, man, that was going to be a tough blow. That was going to be a tough sell to the fan base to be like, oh no, it's actually not bad that Billy Richmond is leaving. So it's a very easy sell to be like, hey, Billy Richmond coming back is very good. Like, I don't understand what we're doing that's so bad here.
It's a huge part of the plans. Like, if the dude wound up leaving, that's a really, really tough position for Arkansas to be in. They're extremely young, and now you have a guy who is a third-year player in this league, is a breakout player. He's a 2-year Sweet 16 guy. He's a returning starter. All things you wouldn't have had, beforehand. So, no, this is a big one for Arkansas. All SEC all defensive team player. I've said it before. Like, I feel like Billy could be on that SEC Player of the Year type of arc if he returned like that. Dude, I've done the Herb Jones comparisons, and I saw some people taking off with that for his NBA future, perhaps. And I was like, okay.
Well, you remember what Herb Jones looked like? Because I think he was a 4-year guy at Bama. 3-year guy?
I think he was a 4-year guy. I think Billy's a year ahead of schedule.
Whatever it was, and now Herb Jones has also become a very valuable NBA player, but he reached that stage while he was at Bama where he had the length, he had the athleticism, but he kind of just figured things out and just figured out college basketball. And you could kind of tell his last year at Bama, you're like, this is a pro playing college basketball. And I think Billy kind of checks that box as well. With Billy, if you really go, even if you look at his game log this year, there was like a moment, and it obviously helped when he was playing more minutes and Carter went down, and so he had to play more minutes. But it seemed like the switch kind of went off for him. Like, he was always a good, impactful, helpful player. He leveled up a little bit, and it wasn't like he developed these new skills. He just kind of did everything he did at a higher level. And so you think about that even more so. And again, when you're trying to build a culture, you're trying to instill, tell your team what to do. When you have a team full of newcomers, which Arkansas is always going to have a roster full of mostly newcomers, I think it's really helpful to have a guy that you can just kind of trust. Like, Cal maybe doesn't have to say as many things because he knows Billy is going to say it, and he knows Billy's going to do it. There's a lot here, man.
Yeah. No, there's definitely a lot. There's no doubt about it. I love that people keep walking in here and they're like, oh, check Rothstein again. Check this again, check that again. What's going on? Yes, it's a wild ride. Like, we will remember this live stream for a long, long time. Like, there's no doubt about it. It's crazy, man. Crazy.
Also, that one guy in the chat is still very upset with us.
Yeah, I don't care. it's a reaction to what's going on. Actually, eat shit, dude. Like, just get out of here. You don't have to be here. I don't know what this guy's problem is. Get out of here. Freaking moron. What do you expect? Like, we've been waiting for this news for 6 weeks, and it comes out that the biggest retention piece that you were expecting to have back is gone. What do? We weren't sitting here saying, oh, God, the season's over. Fire Cal. Oh, no. It was like, hey, they're really good. They're very young, but it sucks that, a guy like Billy Richmond would be gone. What the hell do you expect?
Well, it's like we acknowledge the number one freshman class. Like, that's awesome. And it's certainly going to be a huge part of the team no matter what. It would have been a very tough sell to the fan base that's like, oh, yeah, like, you have the number one recruiting class, but, like, you don't really have a center. You have no retention. You have no returning pieces. And so these guys are just going to have to, beat all the grown men up. That would have been a little bit tougher. But now that you kind of have a guy in Billy Richmond who can lead that charge, there's still time. We'll see what they do. Cal did kind of mention maybe adding a big guard or something like that. Like, that is going to be a much easier sell. But, in the context of Billy and Malik not coming back, that would have been tough to sell to the fan base. And so, especially because we've been operating for months thinking Billy was coming back. Mm-hmm. And so when we heard that he wasn't coming back, that was a change to what we had thought. And so, I will gladly stand by being upset about Billy Richmond leaving, and I'll gladly stand by being excited that he's coming back.
100%, man. Yeah, I think that's kind of a given. We could go do the thing in the chats and take the first 15 minutes of this from everybody's crash out and then the turnaround. But that's silly. It's exactly how you should feel, man. This was bad news that became good news in real time. That's the beauty of doing a rapid reaction like this. I love it. Should we have gone on to the news that Billy was staying in the draft and immediately said, actually, he's coming back to Arkansas and just lied to everybody about the reporting? I don't know what you expect. Hey, shout out to OZK Insurance. We appreciate them for their partnership here at the Palace. And we know they're an independent insurance agency that's not tied down to just one company. They're going to shop a multitude of A-rated carriers to find the best coverage and price for you. And now they've paired it with something you don't usually see from an independent agency, a full-service mobile app. With the OZK Insurance app, you can see all your policies under one roof, home, auto, whatever you have, plus pay your bills, request roadside assistance, file claims, request policy changes, or even get new quotes, all from the convenience of your phone. So if you're tired of being stuck with one carrier or chasing down paperwork, go to ozkinsurance.com or search OZK Insurance in the App Store or Google Play. It's a local agency with national level options, one powerful app. That's OZK Insurance. Yes, if you were just joining us, Billy Richmond elected to remain in the NBA draft and then flipped the script and elected to come back to Arkansas all within the course of about 15 minutes. And it's all one live stream here that we're doing, which is wild times. It's crazy. Should we I don't know what to do. Like, should we just get into the chat at this point? It's what a roller coaster of emotions. I hope that Malik Thomas just says whatever he's gonna do, and then we'll react to that. And guess what? If he changes the mind, we're going to change our mind about how we feel about it, Yeah.
Also, I want to apologize to all the normal people out there who were just, tuned in, excited, got good news, so they came to hang out with us and had to listen to us go back and forth. We do that sometimes, but it's like, it's hard not to. When you see someone taking personal shots, it's like, come on.
It's unbelievable.
Just have fun. We're all having fun here tonight, especially now that we got good news. Let's just have fun. And yes, let's get into the good chats. Although some of them at the top are reacting to Billy not being there.
yeah. Well, that's also true. And then we'll keep our eyes on the socials there, because we don't know if and when something's going to break with Malik Thomas. Just trying to see. Oh, okay, that was a different notification about Billy withdrawing from the draft and returning to Arkansas. All right, you got to make sure with everything at this point, man. Good grief. Okay, yeah, it is funny. Let's see. We had I was saving this for Billy's return tweet. Damn it. Well, hey,
here it is.
It works out anyway. We'll celebrate your 7-month, anniversary here with us, because he is back now. He hasn't tweeted it himself, but I guess his agent has let the world know. So it's pretty funny.
He's Bill the Thrill, man.
Yeah. That's absolutely right. Billy Richmond, Jory. Yeah. Happy for Billy. And yes, we have wing depth, but this hurts. Yeah. Well, you don't have to worry about it anymore, which is a beautiful thing. Let's see. I like the energy from for WooMF Pig said this will make Leak's return so much better later. This played before the announcement that he was returning, and it plays now because if Leak does come back at this point, then
to make that better also.
You got a double dip of great news. It's a beautiful thing. So let's see. I just got to get through some of these other ones. It is funny to go back and see because people were upset about it. Tough one to swallow. Happy for Bill, but this stings for us.
Well, I actually unstarted. I think it was Bama Hog who shout out happy birthday. No, actually it wasn't. It was Melissa in Phoenix. Sorry.
Okay.
Got my friends of Inside Arkansas mixed up. But she was like, this hurts more because you're seeing all these other teams get their guys back.
Randomly found it.
Right here. And now now that we know he is coming back, it does feel good because again, you see Tommy Houck coming back at Florida. You see, was it Amari Allen just announced an hour ago that he's returning to Bama, and you're like, man, all these teams are getting key players back. Kind of want to be in that mix. Now it makes it a little bit easier to swallow. Where you're like, okay, we're in the group with the cool kids. We got one of our top guys back, all as well.
Yeah, we get a dude back. That's cool. That'll work. Let's see. Addison, I like this. I don't know if it was before or after, but he gave us a Billy, stop it. No, seriously, dude.
Now
stop now. Yeah, stop now. Nothing else from you for the rest of the night, please. Hang on, I got another notification.
Yeah, now stop. Happens. We don't need any more announcements.
Okay. So it was just it was a Jamie Shaw thing. He said Jordan Smith Jr. pushing the break with Billy Richmond, Abdu Torre, and Mika Murinen filling the lanes. Fireworks.
By the way, so Jamie Shaw, obviously respected guy. Jeff Goodman, like 3 minutes ago, also tweeted out Billy Richmond coming back. Not that we were worried about Rothstein's reporting, but he's not the only one saying Billy Richmond returning to Arkansas. Right. We're all good.
Right. What a turn of events, man. And this is hilarious because I think I said this on like the little walk and talk thing I did the other day, but it feels like a lot of times that when Arkansas has a coin flip decision, it's almost like you're flipping the double-sided coin. It's like you're calling tails because it never fails, but both sides are heads. It just seems like it never works out for Arkansas. And not that we thought Billy was even in the category of a coin flip, but for him to literally flip to the other side of the coin is a thing that doesn't happen to Arkansas very often.
Yeah.
This is pretty cool.
Well, specifically, by the way, because, that was kind of the big thing that we talked about was like Cal is very rarely going to try and convince someone to take their name out of the draft. That's his whole thing, is getting guys draft picks. So it was a very reasonable concern to be like, would he do that? Would he even try and negotiate with someone? Would he even try to convince someone to come back? And, I think this helps at least make you feel a little bit better about that.
Yeah, no, dude, absolutely. Absolutely. Easton says, and we appreciate the super chat, says, imagine the call that Cal gave Billy about 25 minutes ago. Yeah, I mean, honestly, how do we think this went down? If it was really like a reverse of course, like Rothstein said.
I wonder if Rothstein, probably got word early today and was like, oh, he's going to stay in the draft. And so he was kind of operating with that and maybe continued to get confirmation. And then when he tweeted it out, was definitely not when Billy made the decision. And so I don't know if maybe it changed throughout the course of today. I doubt it was like literally, hey, I'm entering the draft. And then 10 minutes later, Billy's like, you know what? Actually, I feel like it probably, but I mean, with the way he's talking to teams, I imagine there's some negotiation going on. I think this very well could have been a thing that happened today. Was it Anthony Black that back in the day, like, had a commitment video scheduled with Gonzaga?
Yes.
And then literally the day of the commitment had to reach out and be like, yo, don't run that video because I'm committing to Arkansas. These things do happen a lot, man.
Yeah. I'm trying to think, we've had there was some sort of stream that we've been on where something changed or something happened right in the middle of it. Was it
Braylon Russell?
Braylon Russell, yes. We were, I think, in the middle of the Nick Pringle reaction when Malik Ewan also committed that day. So it was like a double pop situation, I remember. And then we were live for Carter announcing that he was going to test the draft waters when Cal put out the whole roster video. Like, we were in the middle of that, and he put out everybody's running it back, and Carter's testing the waters. We support him. And so we had to flip the script on everything right away. That's what happens, man.
By the way, we do have a tweet from Goodman.
Okay.
This was 12 minutes ago. He says, I'm told that Billy Richmond was not staying in the draft. There was no change of course. The plan was for him to return to Arkansas. Now, Jeff Goodman is certainly not like the ultimate truth teller of all times.
Mm-hmm.
And I imagine this is like a shot at Rothstein to be like, oh no, yeah, this guy was wrong. He whatever. But at least that's what he's told, is that there was no changing of the guard. So he's basically, Jeff Goodman is publicly saying that John Rothstein, full of shit, is essentially what's happening.
Well, as long as whoever's full of it, as long as it means Billy Richmond is coming back, I don't really care. So that's
at this point
good for
now
me.
We've got everyone on the same page. Everyone's saying he's coming back. Like, that's all I care about.
Yeah, that's pretty funny though. Goodman of all people, From Hazelwood, we appreciate you, man. He says, boys, what's going on? I was about to throw my toaster in the bathtub. Yeah. I mean, I think a lot of us were. This was pretty down bad. I mean, me and Andrew, we'll look behind the scenes here real quick, but we've kind of been texting back and forth the longer this is drug on in the afternoon of like, okay, do we wait for both guys to announce and then just do one reaction live stream? Because the murmurs, like the grumbles, have been coming out about Billy for the last couple hours here. Like, oh, it sounds like he might stay in. So we're like, man, if it's a double dip of bad news, do we just wait it out? But then when we saw Billy announce first, which is going to kind of send the shockwaves, we're like, no, let's go live and react to it. In hindsight, I kind of wish we would have waited, but I'm also glad that we had what we had. This is going to be like a clippable moment of,
Sure.
We're going in the middle of going through the mental gymnastics of like, what the hell? And then wait, we got an update. It's a beautiful thing, man. It gave me a lot of deja vu from being in the middle of the Carter discussion and getting the video. Or actually, we got the drop because I remember saying, "Hey, I just got the text." And I hate when people do that, but it's like I think we're about to get some news, and then the video dropped, and we were able to play it. That was awesome. So being able to do this, in real time was pretty cool. Save the toaster, or you throw it in the bathtub. Just don't plug it in. It's fine.
I almost made that joke where I was like, I feel like Hazelwood's the type to try to jump in the bath with the toaster with it not plugged in and not realize taking too many hits to the head. But I didn't want to take a shot at his intelligence.
Let's see. From Philly, gifted 5 Inside Arkansas memberships. That's good stuff, man. Appreciate that. Like that a lot. Steven Taylor says, Billy Goat is back. What a roller coaster ride. Malik make Curtis's birthday great at this point. It's going to be up in the air after that switch from Billy. Yeah, I know. Like whenever he says what he's going to say, I'm compelled to just wait for, 10 minutes or something before we do anything about it. But man, this has been crazy. It really has. And yes, I'm not going to lie. When you get to a certain point in life, a certain age, birthday it's almost just like another day. Like you might get to eat a cool meal or something. This one has been fun because having the little man for the first time. Yeah. But I've been pretty salty about it. I'm like, are you kidding me right now? Like, I'm gonna have to sit around all day, not gonna go get to enjoy my steak dinner. They're gonna lose Billy and Malik Thomas, and I'm supposed to pretend that this is a good day. Like, oh wow, once every year you get to celebrate what? So yeah, I've been pretty salty about it. My day is already a heck of a lot better. Like Billy Richmond just made my day. If Malik Thomas stays in the draft, I'm going to be disappointed. I'm not going to be mad at him, just like we weren't mad at Billy when we thought he was. I'll be disappointed. You had to get one of those dudes back.
Sure.
You had to. And for all we know right now, they did.
Absolutely. Well, and it's kind of the theme that we've been saying from the jump where we were like, because, we were frustrated at the beginning of portal season where we're like, man, when are they going to get their guy? When are they going to, make some moves happen? And we always said, if they wind up taking as long as possible, but the end result is good, no one will care. Right. If they win a national championship, we're not going to say, yeah, but the roster didn't come together until August. So I don't know if I really like that. Like, you're fine with it. Birthdays work the same way. If at the end of it, you get good news, it's all good. It was a good birthday.
Yes. Oh, man. From Lane, he says, who cares about my 10-month anniversary? The GOAT is back, baby. Yes, Billy Goat back. Thank God, man. Thank God. And this is the fun thing about it. And this is what I like about what we do here. It's kind of it's different. Like this is the new way that people are consuming content, kind of the direction that media is headed. That's why we got out in front of it. But like at the pass gig, something like that happens, it's the delete button. You know what I mean? Like the edit button, and you take it all out, republish your story, and nobody ever knows. I'm not clipping out the first 10 minutes of this show. No, I'm not doing it.
Because live in infamy.
Exactly. That's exactly like radio. You talk about it the next day on your scheduled time slot. Here, it's just going down, man, and you gotta react in real time. So, and I am thankful that we took the approach that we did. I know the one guy was saying we don't have any self-control or whatever, but there's a part inside of me that wanted to be like, man, this is bullshit. Just really freak out about it, but it's not what you need to do right now. So
that's why I took it personally, because I was like, we made sure to be pretty measured at the top, where we were like,
right,
man, this is still a good team, but this sucks. And then he was like, oh, you're overreacting. It's like, geez, we could have been way worse.
So let's do this real quick. I mean, obviously, if Malik Thomas were to come back, then you'd go Jordan Smith Jr., Leak, Billy, probably Mika, and then Bowser, or would you go like JJ and then Mika? Let's do our little starting lineups with Leak, and then we'll go without and see what we come up with.
I feel like they would start with two bigs, a traditional, like maybe you start Mika at the 4, or him and Bowser, kind of 4 or 5 interchangeable. Mm-hmm. I think you would start with those guys, but I think your closing lineup would probably have Torre at the 4.
Yeah.
Or something like
that. One of the freshmen.
Or Billy at the 4, however you want to slice it. But yeah, I think they would start with Mika at the 4, Bowser, or unnamed center about to sign, or whoever it is,
Sure. But I wonder if what happens, and I'm sure we might talk about this in a little bit, if Leak were to announce that he was staying in the draft, at that point, I think people right away would assume, well, then you just start Jeremiah Wilkinson. And you could. Like, you go Jordan Smith and Wilkinson and Billy, and then whatever in the front court. Or you could just go kind of jumbo, which would be fun. I think like if you went
2.
Yeah, Jordan Smith, Torrey, Billy, Mika, whatever. It's all going to depend on how some of those freshmen shoot. But to the point, having 4 wings like that who are all nearly the same size that can play 3 different positions, it does give you a lot of flexibility, a lot more than you would have had Billy Richmond not changed his mind or not change his mind, whatever the hell just happened.
Well, it's
I'm
also
still confused about what happened, but it's whatever.
The identity of this team is very much built on the wing and very much built on versatility, athleticism, defense, toughness, all that. So I just feel like having Billy, even if he is just an embarrassment, because you've got a lot of threes, I feel like him setting that tone as your, leader, your returner, your best player, it kind of just breeds that within the entire roster where they see him and they're like, I don't need to be too worried about, because we've had guys at Arkansas where we're like, oh, they have to play the 3. They have to play the 4. I think it's good to have your best, most effective returning player be a guy that's like, I'll play the 2, I'll play the 4, I don't care, because everyone should have that kind of mentality.
Right. Yeah. No, 100%, man. This is good right here from Hazelwood. He said, did Billy do the reverse Isaiah Joe? Yes. He did it. Isaiah Joe was coming back for how long before he –
It was a couple weeks.
It was a while. It was a couple weeks. Yeah, Billy was a couple minutes, and but yes, this is the reverse Isaiah Joe.
Although according to Goodman, it's not.
Oh yeah, exactly. Who knows, man?
I'm still glad it played out the way it did. Frankly,
I know.
It was kind of funny.
Too. Well, could you imagine the opposite happening? Like if we were in the middle of the live of Billy returning, and then it's like actually he's reverse course and he's gonna. Now that would have been down bad. That would have been. I would have lost control of my emotions at that point. So, oh goodness gracious, man. Let's see. Ryan, he says, so happy. Was the change proof that Cal was forced to drop a bag? I'm not going to switch up what I said at the top about Billy when we thought that he was out of here, and that it's not all about money. Like it absolutely matters. Okay, we're not naive to that. It's a big deal. Money does talk for sure. But in the rumblings that I heard the last couple of days, and it talked about it on the Pod the Palace, so like this isn't something I just sat on, but yeah, going into the weekend, there were a couple people who were out there saying, hey, be on the lookout. Like Richmond, it might not be a foregone conclusion. Maybe he stays in the draft. He could just be done with college. He could see the abundance of wings and, feel like he needs to strike while the iron is hot with his stock, because you never know how next year is going to go. That talk was out there. It might have just been as simple as John Calipari had to call him and talk to him a little bit and figure some things out. I am sure, though, to your point, Ryan, let me rephrase. I would be stunned if Billy Richmond coming back to Arkansas didn't involve an increase in his NIL package to do so within the last few days. We'll put it there, right?
Well, and also they were prepared to drop the bag. Like they have an offer on the table for Malik Thomas. Malik Thomas may not take that offer, but it's like they are prepared to drop that bag there. And so again, it's and if you just look at what Cal's done, that's why it was so surprising at this stage of portal season to be like, oh wow, I really don't know where they spent the money on this roster, because historically, like even last year's team, I would imagine one of the 10 to 15 most expensive in the entire country. His first year at Arkansas, one of the 10 to 15 most expensive rosters in the country. So that's what was it would have been more surprising had he not spent money than it would be if like, oh yeah, you got your best player back, which, you pretty much did last offseason because they dropped a bag to get Carter.
Right. Yeah, 100%.
Even though it didn't work out, obviously.
Sure. And the other part about this, we can now do, they need to obviously figure out the 5, like whatever the interior defense is going to look like, but the massive improvement on the defensive end of the floor that you should have. Billy Richmond was such a critical piece to that. They still got some dogs on that end of the floor anyway, but relying on several freshmen to do that without having, kind of the head of the snake, which is exactly what Billy Richmond will be on that end. That's massive to have him back. So now you look at it and you got, a Jordan Smith Jr. who I think it was Rivals that said he was the top perimeter defender in his class. Abdou Toure, who can defend several different positions. We saw him lock up Tyron Stokes in the whatever it was, the Hoop Summit game. JJ can guard Billy, tenacious on that end of the floor. So they got some dudes on the defensive end now. And yes, Arkansas gave up a lot of points in the paint. A lot of that was because the guards couldn't keep anybody in front. So this is going to be good for that end of the floor as well, because it's always like a balancing act. Last year or this past season, Arkansas had to get better offensively than it was the year before. It sacrificed too much on the other end. And so now you need to find a balance. This is going to help with that too, because I mean, what would you, and it probably depends on how the roster ends up, but just strictly thinking Billy Richmond here, what would you project for Billy, like statistically next year?
Honestly, I don't think it's going to be that crazy of a jump up. I do think he's going to average probably 13, 14 points.
I was going to say 12, 13. Yeah.
I can see it maybe averaging, and by the way, we got a chat coming from Hazelwood about this, averaging maybe an assist or so more a game, maybe an extra rebound or so, but like, I don't think it's going to be a crazy statistical jump. I do hope that 3-point percentage is like 34%. I would love to see something like that.
Yeah. And it doesn't have to be on more volume necessarily,
just 1 for 3 every game. We'll be okay with that,
Yeah.
I think it would be like kind of slight bumps in every spot. Because I mean, year 1 to year 2, he like doubled his production basically. I don't think it's going to be another massive jump like that, but yeah, I think he can get in the 14 point per game range, because he's still not going to be like a lead creator offensively.
No, yeah, he's definitely not.
Nor does he need to be.
This strikes me as, and to be fair, like I kind of expected this to be the case with last year's team. I thought it was going to be maybe a super balanced roster scoring wise. And like they had plenty of guys who could do, but like, A-Cuff winds up just going absolutely bonkers there, which was awesome. Hey, maybe one of these guys does that, but it does so far look like there might be a little bit more balance. Like, do I think off the top that Jordan Smith Jr. could average 20 plus points per game like A-Cuff did? Probably not. I think he's going to be more impactful on the defensive end of the floor. But could I see him averaging double digits and Billy doing it? And
Wilkerson might lead the team off the bench.
Wilkerson might lead the team off the bench. Honestly, like the JD Note method of coming off the bench. So they might have 5 guys who could average in double figures there, which would be pretty cool as well. Like I kind of like having the put the ball in Darius A-Cuff's hands and get out of the way and good things are going to happen type of dude on your team. Maybe somebody emerges that way. But there's also something to be said for everybody out there being almost like an equal threat. So.
Oh, and by the way, we do have to admit, if Malik Thomas comes back, all that we just said goes out the window.
Yeah, correct.
You will have a leading scorer that is safely above everyone else if Malik Thomas comes back.
Yes. Malik Thomas would probably average over 20 a game if he came back, I would think.
And I would love it. Be like, hey, just take 12 threes a game. We're good.
Yeah, why not? Derek says, the guys I work with are very confused at my emotions.
Same.
Yeah, 100%. I know. I'm guaranteed. I'm sure that John and Cameron were probably listening. So are they driving up to? They're driving up to Lawrence right now, right?
I believe so. Yeah.
So they were probably tapped in.
They might have got there by now.
I know John is. He's got to be upset that he's not on here for all the madness, But this was crazy, man. Oh goodness gracious. I keep looking down at my phone to see if anything else happens. I'm hoping, and we won't filibuster this all night, hoping that Malik Thomas is going to announce. But it would be cool if he did it in like the next 15 minutes, and maybe we could kill 2 birds with 1 stone. But let's see, where were we? Here we go. Trent says, they say God gives his hardest battles to his strongest soldiers. We are a fan base of Hulks at this point. Maybe we'll get some primetime games now. Oh, man. Yeah.
Also, were we not getting primetime games before?
Yeah, no, Cal's good for it. The CBS spotlight games on Thanksgiving, we'll get those for sure. But John just texted us and said iconic live stream.
Yeah, and Cameron confirmed they're tapped in and John is upset.
Good. Oh man. Well, hey, if you guys are in Lawrence by the time Malik Thomas makes up his mind what he wants to do,
join us live from Fog Allen Fieldhouse.
Yeah, exactly. Why not? Goodness gracious, man. Okay, let's see, handful more here. Appreciate everybody for hanging out. Hopefully, because I know this is going to be difficult for some people, and I'll go in and fix the description to the video and everything after we finish here, of like relive the roller coaster or whatever. But some people who started late, we're probably been in the chat for like the first 20 minutes going, what are you talking about? He's back. What's going on? Wait it out a little bit. It's wild.
Yeah, when in the title, apparently, because I just checked YouTube, apparently the title does still say remain in NBA draft.
I know. Well, I changed it on StreamYard, and then I changed it on.
I feel like at one point it did change.
Yeah, I changed it on YouTube also, but
yeah, if you've been listening to us talk, we have been talking about Billy Richmond coming back for about 30 minutes now.
Yeah, no, exactly. Let's see from Scott Freedom. He says, "So glad I was able to watch that live with you all. Very fun. I was bummed, then excited. Yeah, so were we. Long time watcher and enjoy everything. Come on, Thomas, go Hogs." Now, that would be a wild turn of events.
I mean, if we get a midnight hour, Malik Thomas is coming back to Arkansas, this becomes like an iconic day of Razorback fandom. Honestly,
it's one we'll never forget.
Like one we will reference all the time. But like, remember when we thought we had a horrible offseason?
And then all of a sudden it was the best one ever. Yeah. Oh man. Let's see from Washburn Idol. Member for 3 months now says, clip that switch up with Stone Cold's glass shattering and JR freaking out. We are going to have some fun with that, by the way.
My God. Yeah. We should get some of that.
Yeah, that's good. That's a great, just a fantastic job for Cameron. He's going to be all over it. From Coach Hardy Boy, he says, glad to have Billy back. Hopefully he and the freshman wings are able to get the minutes that will allow them to flourish individually. Going to be very interesting rotation-wise. Good problem to have. Yeah, and that's part of that is I think they're going to be playing those guys at multiple positions for sure. If you go look at it right now, I guess it depends on how well Paolo Smido did during his redshirt year or whatever, but it's going to be Mika and then who? And so I think a guy like a JJ or Torrey, we've seen him do it. They could get some minutes at that spot, so that gives you some wiggle room there. If Malik Thomas were to leave, there's a bunch of minutes available there in the backcourt. They like to do that 3-guard type of rotation. It was DJ and Darius and Leak last year, and then it would be Jordan Smith Jr. and Jeremiah Wilkinson and whoever, combination of guys. They could get a bunch of minutes. So really between all the minutes at the 3 and then the piece of the pie at the 2 and the 4, I think they've got plenty. Although, what is it going to look like for Isaiah Sealy? He's going to have to make some improvements over the course of the offseason here. What will it look like? I just mentioned him, but for a guy like Paolo Smido, it might depend on who they get at the 5 also, just because, or how well does Mika Miranen play right away? There's going to be a lot of questions. I imagine doing like the projected depth charts and the minutes distribution, everything like that, usually wind up getting fairly close, like in a good ballpark. Might be way off this year because there's a lot of variables at play, a lot of unknown. Less with Billy back, but still. Okay, Hazelwood. Yeah, he says, if Leak stays in the draft, how much ball handling responsibility will go to Billy? Is point guard Billy back? I think it would be about the same as it has been.
Yeah.
Right?
I definitely don't think he's going to be like running the point or running the offense. Mm-hmm. But again, I also think that's going to be kind of the case for all these guys. You mentioned the freshmen. The biggest test for how many minutes those freshmen can play is how well can you perform without the ball in your hands? How well do you move off ball? How much of a complimentary piece are you? Can you shoot it off the catch? These are all things. So, like, honestly, I'm more interested in how Billy continues to make strides in that range. Like, can he become a real spot-up threat? That would be a big thing. And I'm sure he is going to continue to be a secondary ball handler for sure. But I think it's just kind of ball handle by committee.
I think so too. Yeah, because Jordan Smith Jr. I know that becoming more of an initiator, facilitator, and everything, that's going to be a big part of his development. So he's going to have the ball in his hands a lot. Jeremiah Wilkinson is a high usage guy, can create a lot of offense. Not a big facilitator, but he's going to have the ball in his hands a lot. And so, there'll be a number of guys.
The biggest recipient of the Malik Thomas void that is left. Wilkinson will eat up, I'd say, the most of that.
For sure. Yeah. And he will make up for the most of the loss, in the scoring department and everything. The dude, he actually averaged more points per game in the SEC than Malik Thomas did last year. He obviously wasn't playing with Darius Acuff, but I'll tell myself whatever I need to. Top 10 scorer in the SEC, Jeremiah Wilkinson. You love it. From Zach Howell, he says, this one's for Billy. Got me with the title, though. Yeah, there's only so much you can do in real time. We did change the background there. And, yeah, I did. It's a little bit irritating because it was able to change it on StreamYard, which you can see.
Right.
I changed it in YouTube.
I could have swore it changed at one point on YouTube, but maybe it went back. I don't know.
It might have to be an after the fact thing. We'll get all fixed in the description for everybody who's watching a little bit later. Who some folks are like at work or whatever, might not be able to check this out until later.
When I feel like if you have a brain, you should be able to notice what happened. Of like, there was a report that he was staying in the draft. We went live to cover it. It changed course while we were live, and so hopefully you can understand what's going on here.
Right. Oh, Trent came back from early. He said, "Yeah, the primetime was a shot at the football team."
As soon as we brought it up, I thought about it after. I was like, maybe he was talking about football because we did just have the announcement that Georgia's going to be an 11 a.m. game. No, for sure, yeah. Well, I don't think Billy Richmond is going to help the football team become a hot commodity, but basketball, we will get some. In fact, I have a shirt that says "Primetime at the Palace."
Yeah, man. There you go. Exactly. And then a final super chat here from Brian Garland says, "Happy birthday, Curtis. Thank you for that. What a present to get the Billy Goat back. Yes. Heart was crushed for 15 minutes. Not going to lie. Yeah, that was, we were doing our best at some mental gymnastics there. And I'm glad that it was all for no reason."
Oh, dude, the rest of that stream, Curtis, would have been such a disaster. We would have been sitting there being like, Isaiah Sealy, don't sleep on him. We would have really been trying to.
The rest of the stream would have been done a half hour ago.
Right.
We'd have been out of there, man.
Super chats would have been a lot fewer, you know.
Oh goodness. Okay. So we're 57 minutes live. We're gonna take this to an hour and see if anything happens, and then we'll hop off here. If we gotta go live to talk about leak after a while, then we will. That's fine. But
as you pointed out earlier today, if Malik is staying in the draft, it's extremely possible he doesn't say anything.
Yeah.
Like it is not like we always do that where we're like, has so and so announced they're coming back? It's like most people don't do that. If you're not entering the portal, you're not going to be like, hey, I'm not entering the portal. Now people have done the run it backs and stuff like that, but it is possible that we just sit and wait and nothing is said, and then we have our answer.
Right. This is funny from David, by the way, because you brought this up right in the moment. Was not John Rothstein the whole time, like the burner account? And like I had the notifications on, so I knew it was legit. I still checked twice to make sure that it was the John Rothstein with the update tweet. So yeah, we're good here, but it's crazy, man. And then what they've done with where you can buy the blue check mark or whatever, now it's like you really got to go overtime to verify when you see that kind of stuff coming out. So it's crazy, man.
Hey, credit to not Rothstein though, that we are living in fear of this guy because we all had the same kind of fear.
I know, man. I know. It's crazy.
What are you gonna eat if you? Because I see people talking about Kingsley saying go have a birthday meal. What is your birthday meal gonna be?
Well, my birthday meal is already here, and so this is what sucks. I had a bunch of different things I needed to do. We wanted to go out. What we wanted to do was go to the Mad Rooster and have a drink because I love going out there. It's a cool place, little brewery in town. Not a lot of people know about it, but we go out there quite often because we can take the dog, like there's an outdoor area, and the baby, and just hang out. So we weren't able to do that. And then I don't know where I would have liked to go to dinner, but my wife just walked in the house with some Longhorns, so I'm good for that. Good for that. We would usually go to somewhere local,
Yeah.
But I didn't want to get it for carry out. And so just got a little Longhorn. She was out there by Target and Kohl's and all that stuff anyway, so it'll be good.
Well, I'm glad that since your birthday was chaotic and wasn't exactly how you wanted it to go, I'm glad that at least you did get some good news out of it.
Right. Hurley, thanks for the heads up. Yeah, we know.
I don't know how many different ways we can word this.
Yeah, it's crazy. I did not mean to click on this, but
good message to send us off on.
If Yahusha is the person who made this all possible with Billy Richmond, then I'm happy.
whoever wants to take credit, Yeshua, whoever, we'll give it to him for sure.
Yes. Should I pull up the other one? No, I'm not going to pull up the other one. Let's get out of here for now, Andrew. Do you have anything else you want to say about Billy Richmond, who we will not talk about much during the Malik Thomas stream whenever that happens?
Yeah, I don't have much to say other than what I've already said, which is Billy Richmond is going to go down as one of the greatest all-time fan favorites, Yeah. Well, I don't know where he'll rank in terms of, by the time he's done with his career at Arkansas in terms of actual players, but I can already hear the noise that's going to be shouted at Bud Walton Arena. He was already one of those guys. I mean, he would always get some of the loudest pops whenever they would announce him in the starting lineup and all that. It's going to be absolute cinema, whether it's the red-white game, the Midnight Madness, all that. And I'm excited to see that. And I'm glad that, one, that Billy's going to – I think he's going to do a lot of good things on the basketball court. Hopefully next year he's going to even, make a lot of money and going to improve his draft stock. It goes the way he wants. But I'm also glad that Billy gets one more year to really soak in, because I do feel like if he had gone – and really I feel this way about Malik Thomas too. If you go play in the NBA, that's great and all that, but you're probably going to spend that first year a lot in the G League. I feel like there would have been a lot of moments throughout the year where he would have been like, damn, I probably should have just stayed where I was the man for a year, developed. And so I'm glad that and I think he's going to enjoy his year at Arkansas, hopefully win a lot of games, and we'll make it fun for him.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And the one final thing I'll add on Billy, because I echo everything that you just said there. He's always kind of been the example that John Calipari lays out there for the other guys. How many times have we heard him say that in press conferences? Even talking about trying to get Carter Knox going, a guy that he was, classmates with and was competing with for playing time, sometimes not even getting as much playing time as Carter. But Coach Cal would go in there and say, hey, just be more like Billy. Leave it all out there. Play as hard as you can possibly play. Do all the little things. And Billy's always been that guy. So that's a great piece to have in the locker room, to kind of be that lead by example type of dude. I wonder if he can develop as maybe a leader with his voice out there on the floor. So he's going into his third year. He's going to be the most experienced guy who's been in the program at least. Can he take that step in the maturation process? Also, will be something that's going to be pretty fascinating to keep an eye on there. Excited about Billy. I just got the warm and fuzzies thinking about the last time we talked to him. We were in San Jose and he was trying to eat his fries from In-N-Out, and we were trying to interview him real quick. What a guy, man. It's going to be great to have Billy back. Very excited this all changed on his head, and looking forward, I think, to talking about Malik Thomas, whether we're just saluting him for what he did during his year or if we're just going crazy because he's coming back. But whenever that happens, we will go live, and if we have to improvise in the middle of the stream, dang it, we'll do it. But appreciate everybody for hanging out with us. Subscribe, turn the noties on. That way you know when we do go live to talk about this stuff. And unless the notification that I just got was for that, and it's not, then we'll see you guys a little bit later. For Andrew Ellis and Curtis Wilkerson, it's been the Pot at the Palace. You guys have a good, minutes, few hours, whatever. We'll see you in a little bit.